Hello and welcome to this special interview that I've got here. With me, I have Magnive, who is going to talk a bit about a new mission tree that's coming to Anbennar. So, Magnive, why don't you introduce yourself and let everyone know who you are and what you do?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Magnive. I am the content lead, or I'm one of the two content leads of Anbennar, meaning that if something is wrong, evil people may say it is my fault because basically everything in the mod goes through content review at one point or another. I would say no, find someone else to blame, please. In addition to that, I'm also mission tree creator. You may know me from Gorborat or Ofdal Tungra. I also made Celestalia for the April Fools last year. I wish we had had time to do something
Oh,
like
so
that
you
this
are
year.
to blame. Okay, no, we can blame you for this one. That one's on you. You've just admitted that.
That is fair. And I've for this update, I've also made the Nansalan mission tree, which that's one of the hobbies in Bulwa, if you don't know that, and then also the Esthil rework that we're going to be having a look at today.
Right. So, for Esthil, I remember playing Esthil. It's one of the tags that I've done multiple times actually. And I
Yes.
remember very much enjoying it. So, in a way, what was the impetus to rework Esthil? What was the impetus to say, look, what we have, we need to do it again, do it bigger, better, etc.
Yeah. So Esthil, the OG Esthil, is a great mission tree. I will not deny that, but it is, in my opinion, it mostly gets that off of the vibes. I don't want to speak ill of the original creator, fine, who did that, but there are some issues that would have been caught in the modern day content review, but because the OG Esthil mission tree is pretty ancient, there's some things that would have been caught today that made it in. For example, there's a mission on the second rank that asked for a university. Uh, I think most people form Black Domain before they unlock universities. And then there's also one of the penultimate missions that ask you to have a trade depot, which is, again, you would probably have formed Black Domain before you unlock Trade Depot.
Yeah.
Um,
Tech 17 for trade
and
depots and
yes,
17 for universities is that's some requirement. Fair enough.
yeah, and there were also some missions that, if they were proposed today, somewhere along the review line, the creator would have told you should add a bit more here, add more spice. For example, there's a mission that requires you to have Army of the Dead, and as a reward for that, you would get 10 prestige. That's at that point, I think most people would prefer just not having the mission in the first place,
Mm.
because being given 10 prestige feels a bit insulting, to be frank.
Yeah. No, I can
Um,
definitely understand that. I don't remember much of the rewards and such that I got from that mission tree, but I do remember, yeah, vibes and such were, in my opinion, S tier. So
oh,
the
absolutely.
the vibes of the new mission tree, same. Are we expecting many differences there? Is Verina still our, as one of my chatters has put it, dark magic mummies? Is am I going to enjoy another dark magic mummy here?
Yes, so Verina is still front and center. In fact, if Verina dies at any point during the mission tree, you lose access to the mission tree. This is the story of Verina. However, the Verina of this mission tree is maybe a bit different than the one in the OG one, because she's no longer like a cackling necromancer out to conquer Esgarden because she's an evil witch queen right from the get-go. Instead, she starts out as an idealist who believes that the orcs must pay for what they have done. But she doesn't want to. You actually can't do the Army of the Dead project right away, because for Verina, the only acceptable targets for necromancy at the start of the game are goblins and orcs, because in the lore of Anbennar, necromancy hurts the souls that are used for it. There's no such thing as benevolent necromancy from an objective standpoint. Verina will say there's such a thing as benevolent necromancy, which is when necromancy is used against acceptable targets, such as orcs and goblins.
I find myself... it's quite difficult to disagree with her as an orc and goblin hater.
Yeah, so the first event, the event that fires when you form Esthil, is unchanged, but in the one that like comes after, where like, oh, a new dawn, where Verina becomes your ruler, then I've changed that a bit so that the localization emphasizes that, like, yeah, Verina is a necromancer. She is very blatant about that, but she will only inflict the pain of undeath upon orcs and goblins, and then force them to undo the damage they did to Escan.
Yeah, I see that here. I promise that I will never inflict the pain of undeath upon any civilized race. But the orcs?
Yes.
Scratch his chin.
Yes, exactly. But I don't want to spoil too much, but at some point you will go Army of the Dead, and you will recognize Esthil as like, oh yeah, this is the necromancer attack. But it's a story.
Yeah.
Esthil is the story of like, oh, how we go from this young idealist in Verina. She's like, I don't know, somewhere in her 20s when she's first elected. And then things start happening. And I don't want to spoil exactly what those things are. But suffice to say, you will still be able to enjoy griefing everyone else in your multiplayer games if you get far enough with Esthil, by never running out of manpower. In fact, Esthil has very, very few military modifiers given to it, because you get a better version of you eventually get a better version of the one where you get manpower from casualties.
Okay.
So you eventually become the Scourge, basically. I think it's very hard for you to run out of manpower.
Some multiplayers are gonna put that to the test, but I'm sure in single player, infinite manpower sounds absolutely fantastic.
I am very curious to see how this does in multiplayer. So if you end up playing it in a multiplayer game, please let me know. I want to see how it fares.
As far as other Esthils that I have seen in multiplayer become the target of vibe coalitions, where, oh, this tag is an evil tag, therefore we have to take them down, or this tag will become Army of the Dead, and Army of the Dead is very frightening, therefore we either nerf Army of the Dead or we kill this tag. So I'm sure I can set up a multiplayer where neither of those things happen. Yeah, it shouldn't
there
be
is
too
a
much
very appropriate point in the mission tree where something like that happens, or well, something like that could happen.
So, let us talk a little bit about the new mission tree then.
Yes.
It is almost completely changed, not everything, as far as I understand.
So, there's one single mission that has survived, not 100% unchanged, but mostly unchanged. So, if you look at Gatha Kenrick's texts, I modified the trigger a bit, but the event chain that follows is mostly the same.
If I recall correctly, that is going to the Empire with a group of adventurers, stealing the books of necromancy from, I think, like the library in Conwell, maybe? Coming back and being like, hey, Verina, we did it. Am I right on that?
It's in Order Aldresia. So
Aldresia,
they've got, it's like the tome of, basically Calathasat. He wrote like a grimoire on necromancy, and that was locked up by the Order Aldresia. And then you steal it from them, because obviously knowledge should be free, even if it's like how do I necromancy 101? Actually, in this case, it's probably like more like 501. This Kenrick was pretty good at necromancy, but
It's
the
funny.
event chain is unchanged.
Unchanged.
Although
That's great for me.
Instead of getting the OG Esthil, you get to immediately go from renowned to legendary necromancy if you do this.
Okay.
That's no longer the case. Instead, you get a 50% experience modifier when you study necromancy.
Okay.
Which it always felt a bit off to me that you could just like, yes, I read this tome, now I'm instantly able to do lich stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, it's like, oh yeah, you have the cheat sheet, so you will be able to study much faster.
Okay.
And also, since you need, so most of the time with the new magic system, it's often you want it to be that your ruler, if you have one, studies one school while your estate study another school.
Yes.
So that there's no overlap. In Esthil, you will need to study necromancy with both your ruler and your estate.
Okay.
So for that reason, I'm also like I'm being very generous with necromancy experience modifiers in this mission tree for that reason.
I feel like if any tech deserves necromancy experience modifiers, it's probably Esthil. That doesn't seem out of the realms of
no
possibility.
That does seem pretty reasonable in my opinion.
Yeah, I will say I am quite glad that this event chain about going to get the book is unchanged, because whenever I have been pitching Anbennar to others, I've used that event chain as, look, this is basically a D&D adventure in Anbennar. Imagine how cool this would be as a D&D adventure.
Oh yeah.
And so that part I'm glad has been unchanged. So why don't we talk about some of the stuff that has changed then?
That's basically everything else.
Right.
So you can have a look around at some of the mission. So the Eastern Tower is also mostly unchanged. You still get minus 10% advisor cost. And I don't actually remember if the previous one also gave you a discounted mage tower, but you can get that.
Mm-hmm.
And you also you no longer rename the mages to the Lodge of Necromancers, because that was too long and would if you look at the estate screen, if the mages were named Lodge of Necromancers, it would actually go beyond the banners. So now they just become the Necromancers.
Okay, that works.
And you get a specific privilege for them. You also get another one later, but the Mistress of the Lodge privilege makes it so that so long as you are better at necromancy than the mages, you will get to ignore the penalties for having low crown land, so long as the mages have at least 30% crown land.
Okay.
So the ideal crown land distribution, estate land distribution for Esthil is probably 100% in the hands of the mages.
100%. Okay, that feels quite difficult to get to, but even more so than having land in the hand of the crown, you want it in the necromancers to have that?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a later privilege that I think it, like every time you build a mage tower, give 1% crown land to the mages. So I do give the player some tools to achieve that.
Okay.
And I see you've loaded in the later save I sent to you.
Yes, I wanted to find that Mistress of the Lodge.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, okay.
And it gives a scaling modifier based on how much crown land the mages has. So some absolutism and some study speed, I think it is.
Okay. Yeah,
and then also
max absolutism is a very good modifier later on. So getting plus 10 on that, I'll take it.
Yeah. It also works very well with the land grant academies. That gives half of the mage's land ownership as experience modifier.
Oh, for sure.
For both ruler and estate studying.
Okay.
So Esthil is very much a magic tech, and you will want to empower the mages. So
So, magic then. Is there
yes,
new things that we can do with our magic?
if you look at the magic screen and you go to advances, I'm assuming that everyone who's watching has seen the new magic rework. If not, I think we have a video on it, but as I understand it, you've been playing with on the Bitbucket for a while, so your viewers would presumably know about the magic rework.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
But long story short, it's amazing, and
Yeah.
definitely go play with a magic tag in the
Yes.
new update because it's awesome and such a big improvement. But yes, I do think you do have a there is an interview on the Anbennar channel with
Yes.
going over that. But yeah,
Yeah.
I see necronomics here. What
Yes.
are necronomics?
So necronomics is like, oh yeah, how do we use necromancy benevolently? So you
Okay.
don't want to just put zombified on orcs on the battlefield and then throw them against your enemies. That would be like a lich king thing to do.
Hmm.
And you're like, oh, um, we are not about that. We are about peaceful pursuits of necromancy.
Of
So
course.
what you're doing with necronomics is trying to figure out how do we use necronomics for good. Um, I won't go into details just yet, because in 6 months after you're on pause, you will be able to start studying this, and I think it makes most sense to discuss it
When it's
then.
open. Okay.
Yeah. But for now, have you completed the invaders yet?
Let us
Yeah.
complete the invaders. What we
Yes.
need for this invaders? Amass 30,000 toiling souls. Okay, I think we need to talk about toiling souls before I click this,
Yes.
so that people understand what our new. This is like a new Esthil mechanic that is
Yes.
just
It
for
is.
this.
So it's a variable. Um, that's just kept track of in the back end. The initial event where Verina comes to rule tells you how to get toiling zones, but this tooltip also like helps you a bit, and explains that you get these toiling souls by purging goblins or orcs or winning battles against non-rebels while solely at war with orcs or goblins. The
Okay.
reason it's phrased a bit oddly is that it's not actually possible to reliably track casualties, except total casualties inflicted in battles.
Mm-hmm.
What I originally wanted to do was like, oh, you get X percentage of casualties inflicted against, like, of the orcs and goblins you kill, but that isn't actually possible because there's some bug or unintended behavior where instead of the relevant stuff in the backend that keeps track of this is it says, oh, the winning country and the losing country, except
Mm-hmm.
it's not actually the winner or loser. It is the attacker or the defender.
Right.
And so this is the best we can do.
Okay.
So you amass these toiling souls, so dead orcs or goblins, whose soul you are putting to work by killing orcs or goblins. It's that simple. And then once you have killed enough of them, and once you have like established, once you have driven them from within the white walls, you can complete the mission, the invaders. And the government reform you get for this is called the Dead Toil. And as you see, it's like, oh, unlock the government abilities, support construction. And government mechanics enables the Necronomics government mechanic. So if you go to the government screen, you can see this amazing art by Helgi, one of the artists in Anbennar. Like, I am thrilled to bits about this art. It is so good.
I do like
Um,
it. I do like the
yes,
color purple, so it always tends to help things look better.
yes,
But
yes.
yeah, this looks awesome.
So you can see you have to help you a bit. If you had less than 30,000 souls when you complete the mission, it bumps you up to 30,000 souls.
Yeah.
Um, and then it tells you, oh, you can get more souls by doing this or that, and you can also use these souls. Not that there's no. This isn't a classical government mechanic where you click a button, you spend some government power, and then you get some effect from that. Instead, everything here is passive toggleable abilities.
Right.
Well, the one you have unlocked right now is support construction, where if you click that, it will give you a modifier that reduces construction cost by 25% and construction time by 50%.
I love that. I love that so much.
But in return, you need to spend 2,500 toiling souls per 100 docket base cost.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to build a workshop, that will cost you 2,500 souls. If you want to build a fort, it's 5,000, and a manufactory is 12,500 toiling souls. And you
So
can
that's
see that
quite a few.
yes, it used to be like only 1,000 toiling souls per 100 base cost, but then balance got involved.
Right. Fair.
The capstone also used to give up to 10% discipline. I was then at some point the balance lead was like, wait, what? How was this approved? This needs to be nerfed. So
Fair.
it is now sadly no longer 10% discipline as the capstone.
Sadness.
Yes. Also, small detail in the government screen.
Yeah.
If you go back to that, I don't know how visible it is on the stream, but you should be able to see that if you look closely, there's like small purple lights in the eye sockets when it's active.
Oh, that's
that
cool.
then disappear. Yes.
I'm gonna need that artwork in like full resolution. That would be quite nice.
I can send it to you afterwards.
Hell yeah.
Or you can just go into the code and find it. Actually,
I'll go with the first option.
That is very fair. So as you can see, there are four like silhouettes openings in the masonry, if you want to call it that. And you only start off with support construction enabled, but then you enable the rest as you play through the mission tree.
Okay.
If you do the first run file I sent you.
That is the government power, or was that the?
No, that's the one. Lambert _RF_1.
Okay. That one there that integrates everything.
Yes.
There we go.
So, among other things, this also built a bunch of buildings, and each of these buildings drains some of your government power. And when that happens, you get that notification event. You get the option to say, "Don't." That's one of the options that's like, "Don't ever show this event again."
Right.
There's another that's like, "Oh, don't show me this event again in 10 years." And then there's also just like, "Gotcha."
I like that. Having it's always when I get these kinds of events, it's like I don't want to see this every single time it pops up because it happens a lot, but I also don't want it to never ever happen again. Having that 10 years situation, I like that. That's a nice compromise.
Yeah. If you unpause the game, we'll need to wait. We need to wait for the estate advancement to finish, which will take 6 months.
Okay.
But then, why don't you give yourself a bit of government power? Just run the author run file I sent you.
Yep. There we go. We're now back up to 150k soul. I'm glad that doesn't say 150,000 because let's be real, we're gonna get into a situation where the player is gonna get millions of souls, right?
Yeah. When it's above 100,000, it rounds off to thousands.
No, that's great.
Yeah. How far?
So turning on support construction, because I do know there is a mission that we have within the white walls.
You
I want
to
build a bunch of the
yet.
walls. This is not yet.
You didn't turn it on.
Yes, I'm saying I think we should probably turn it on to do that, to make them build much faster.
Yeah.
So we'll pop that on.
Mission tree, it's very much about necronomics. That was one part of the original Esthil government, of the original Esthil mission tree that I really loved. So we are doubling, tripling, and quadrupling down on that. And it's gonna be glorious.
I will say as well, this within the White Walls, if I recall correctly, and I may be wrong, because it's been known to happen, this, whenever we had missions for, build a fort on the White Walls, it often asked for build a fort on every single White Wall province, which was quite annoying, especially in multiplayer, because a lot of multiplayer servers disallow having castles next to one another. Fort spam is bad. This one, it have them. Every province with a white wall either has a fort or is adjacent to one with a fort. And just from a multiplayer perspective, I really appreciate that. That's a really nice difference there.
One small thing, the adjacent fort also has to be White Walls of Castanor.
Yes.
So
okay. So, as far as I can tell, you would just need to have 5, I think, at the most efficient way. Walls now.
3.
But either way, it is a lot
you need
more.
6.
6? Okay, I was
do need
close.
6, but you can use the one in Old Haven. That starts.
Right.
The configuration you did was like optimal.
I'm always trying to optimize things. Let's also give ourselves a little bit of admin points to finish off infrastructure ideas.
Oh yeah, this mission tree goes really well with infrastructure ideas, and so long as you have the rebuilding Escan, is that rebuilding Escan country modifier that you get? It's the third one, fourth one, sorry.
So our construction time is going to be pretty good then.
With rebuilding Escan, support construction, and infrastructure ideas, you have minus 100% construction time.
That is nuts. That is nuts.
It is gonna cost you some orcs or goblins, but hey, that's like dead orcs or goblins, so that's a net negative to the economy.
I mean, you're saying it's going to cost things that I want to get rid of anyway. I mean, I fear you're not understanding how little I care for their lives. Anyway, we now have within the White Walls completable.
Yes. So if you can complete that, and if you then go cast the deposit divination spells, you should be able to complete the dead mines.
All right, so that is in magic, spellbook, divination, deposit divination, which gives goods produced and local regiment cost.
Yes.
Nice. All right. And that will enable another mission, the Dead Mines. So what are the Dead Mines?
So mining is hard work in this day and age. It's like, and it is dangerous work. Not only do you need to risk like the mines caving in and burying everyone, it's also just like you get a lot of particles and dust into your lungs that kill you.
I'm from the north of England. I don't need that explained to me.
It is not nice. So Verina is like, hey, instead of having like actual people do this, why don't we send dead orcs and goblins down into the mines to swing the pickaxes? And so this part was also part of the original Esthil Mission Tree. Dead Mines was one of my favorite parts of that, where you had, I think it was like 3 missions in a row, where you like established them and then expanded them.
Yes, I remember it.
You still largely do that here, but if you hit complete there, and you will notice that the completion tooltip says unlock the Necronomics government ability, toggle dead mines.
So
if you go to the government screen,
we have new artwork available.
Yes, that's a new thing that's unlocked. And here you can disable or enable the dead mines. And you will also notice that the little skull telling you how much government power you have now has a minus in front of it, because now you have a negative monthly upkeep.
Right.
Okay. Because each level 1 dead mine will cost you 10 government power per month. As you upgrade them, they will cost more and more, and you will also eventually gain the ability to build them not quite in arbitrary provinces, but any province where you can build a weapons manufacturer, you will be able to turn into a dead mine.
Okay.
The tooltip there, once the mission from Souls to Steel, yada yada yada, has been completed, you can build there. And the tooltip also tells you how to get the next 2 levels of dead mines. And it also shows you, like, oh yeah, you can get plus 0.5 local goods produced and plus 50% local goods produced if it's level 3.
That's quite a lot. That's quite a lot.
I did say that we are doubling, tripling, and quadrupling down on necronomics.
I'm all for it. Does this mission also change the trade goods to iron? Right, because I do know that Escan has some randomness with its goods, right?
It's supposed to be like 50-50 chance of being flipped to either iron or bronze, but EU5 is deterministic when it comes to missions, so it will always be the same thing.
Okay.
So I'm probably going to make it so that it's always just iron between now and the actual release, but I tried.
Fair. Clearly, as a little suggestion, I mean, we're in Steel Hill. It's very close to these mountains, and just in this game that I've noticed, they've rolled some mithril here. So maybe in Steel Hill we can just like dig into the mountain a little bit, get a little bit of mithril out in Steel Hill potentially, maybe? Question mark.
Mithril outside of the Dvarova is strictly forbidden.
Ah, damn content designers.
That is. That has been established policy for multiple years now.
Fair enough. Okay. My suggestion thrown away.
There was a monument in one of the spires in, I think it was in Sahal, where they wanted to, like, oh, this is like tapping into the plane of Earth. Can we flip the good to be mithril? And this was like back when Horus was still both constant and Dvarova elite, and he was just like, no, that's not gonna happen. Mithril is Dvarova only.
Okay.
I should probably learn to pronounce it. I am core of that region.
No, that's
also.
But I mean, okay, well, we'll just go conquer it instead then. That works. Yes. That's fine.
You can do that. You can build dead mines on Mithril.
Okay.
Once you complete From Souls to Steel.
So that allows you to build these dead mines in places that aren't just the area that it's originally asking for. Okay,
so
that's cool.
If you scroll down on the mission tree, you can see there's a mission called Needs Must. That's about conquering the area around Gulenhill. Like the eastern part there. Where you need to do it's basically a reprise of the dead mines, where you need to make sure that everything, all of the highlighted stuff has or is adjacent to a mage tower, and then has some development and have workshops. And then in return, the ones that don't already have a mineable good, so don't worry, I'm not flipping the gold. Those provinces are flipped to iron. And then you get dead mines in all of those places, including the gold mine.
Including the gold mine. Yes. We're talking eventually 0.5 goods produced and 50% extra goods produced modifier on Gyllenhaal gold mine.
Yes. Also, deposit divination still stacks with that.
I like this. I like this a lot.
Yes.
That feels pretty goated. Okay.
So yeah, that mission just applies dead mines to those provinces, and then From Souls to Steel allows you to build it elsewhere. Okay. So I remember in one of my test games, I had gold in Elderlan or something, one of the provinces just next to Casternath, and I was very much looking forward to building
gold on a farmland, brother.
Yes. I was very happy about that.
I can imagine. Okay.
Yes.
Question.
Yes.
Is Dame's-Tier a mineable resource?
I don't remember, but you can't build weapons manufacturers on them.
Okay.
So you can't get dead mines on Dame's-Tier provinces. Sorry.
Because that would have been a little busted. I was thinking of some cook. with
Yes.
some magic there. But okay.
Yeah. That would
So
have
from
been
Souls to
very
Steel allows
busted.
you to build them anywhere, and that's
Yes.
including like if I've gone and conquered like near Vertesk, and I've got
Yes.
Iron Mines over there. Okay.
So long as you can build a weapons manufactory, and it will also need a mage tower on the province. But as you can see, one of the rewards here is that every current and future province with a weapons manufactory gain the following effects: possible number of manufactories.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
You will also unlock the ability to do the same for mage towers in the Necrocrats mission, where so building a mage tower means you can now build an additional manufactory in that province. And then the mission Reap Fields is the same as Dead Mines, but for farm estates.
Okay. Wait,
So you can actually
makes farm estates give you a possible number of manufactories?
yes, +1 possible number of manufactories.
Oh
The intent is that you're supposed to stack this with mage towers, but I have a feeling
no! Good soldiers' households, brother.
that the multiplayer community may feel differently. One thing I should notice: the +1 number of manufactories from mage towers and either weapons manufactories or farm estates do not stack with each other.
Okay.
So it is the exact same modifier that is being applied.
Okay.
So
you're not getting a
unless you
+2.
expand, no, unless you expand infrastructure. Speaking of expanding infrastructure, why don't you head over to Ardent Keep and develop that a bit so that you can expand infrastructure? Because
I can tell
we're
I'm a
going to need
multiplayer
that.
coded. I only deved dip and mill. Alright.
Yes.
There
And
we go.
now that you've done that, you should be able to complete Breaking New Grounds, which is this is where you unlock the Necronomics magical project.
Okie dokie, there we go.
And if you go to the magic screen,
Necronomics.
wait. Yes, and if you then just click that, and you can see the project inside tells you like, oh, what will this do?
Yes. Local development cost in all owned provinces. That's tempting. I like what I'm seeing here. So
It is.
And you can give them more souls to get more experience modifier more quickly.
Oh wait, this doesn't mention that it. I need to change the localization up once we're done here, because that is supposed to mention that this. So every time you develop provinces for it will cost toiling souls.
Okay. So clicking
I
dev button
forgot.
lowers your amount of souls.
Yes, exactly. So
Okay.
this government power is very much like all of the mission tree basically, and what gives you revolves around that. So you will need to be the one deciding: do I want to spend this government power on improving my development, or do I want to have it like have buildings be faster and cheaper, or do I want to run like as many dead mines and reap fields as I possibly can? And yeah,
So there is an, I'm not going to call it an issue, but
yes.
there is a way that I could see that this might be gameable by certain communities that may start with an M.
Yeah.
Multiplayer communities are going to leave one or more orc neighbors as living, just so that they can periodically go and let's call it harvest some souls from them.
That is totally intended.
It's intended. Okay.
Like if you want to have like a farm of orcs or goblins and keep them alive, that is like, congratulations, you are now in the mindset of Verina and her.
Okay, that's
like,
as long as it's intended. I didn't want to be gaming the system, but if this is an intentional, we've planned for this, I'm down for that. Okay.
You do. Again, this isn't something I want to get into the weeds of, because I don't want to spoil the entire mission tree, but you do eventually unlock other ways of getting toiling souls other than just killing or purging orcs or goblins.
Right. Okay.
One other thing.
Mhm.
If you go to the Lodge of Necromancers mission,
Lodge of Necromancers mission.
and it's one of the top ones.
Top one. There we go.
Second, yeah. If you look at the tooltip there, each level of estate necromancy will increase the proportion of casualties turned into toiling souls by 10%. So, if you get the necromancers to be a bit better at necromancy, you will get even more souls, even more government power from killing orcs or goblins in combat.
And that is the estates.
Yes.
Where's necromancy here? So you currently have the estates necromancy at proficient. So
yes.
What would be legendary? What percent are we talking about there? Is that 50%?
50%.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. That seems like necromancy has always been, for every other tank that I've played, it is something that only your ruler does. Like, we don't care about estate necromancy. It doesn't really do anything for us.
Actually, that's not gonna be true anymore. Because if you look at the necromancy spells, you will notice that Army of the Dead is no longer a spell here.
Oh, okay.
As of, I think it was like a month and a half ago maybe, it was changed such that becoming a lich is now a decision, and Army of the Dead is now the magical project.
Okay. Interesting.
And
we as Esthil can't do this at the start of the game.
No.
Okay.
Actually, so the save I sent you is a bit old. Normally, if you played it now, there would be a tooltip saying that Verina does not condone the studying the something.
Right.
But there's a flag there that hasn't been set in this save because this is a bit old.
Okay.
And was in response to some feedback.
Yeah, I mean everything is still like in progress and coming, so that's all good.
Yes. This was, yeah. We had so the release is in what, 3 weeks?
Yeah.
And this was completed like a month ago, so there were sometimes where it was a bit rushed, but it should be fine when it actually releases.
So, in case people missed it, I think we touched on it at the very start of this. Esthil will be able to go Army of the Dead later on.
Yes.
Right. And that I think that is quite important because obviously Esthil is, or has been for a long time, like a very beloved mission tree. And
yes.
It was, in terms of Canor at least, it was the undead tag.
Yes.
With a capital T and a capital U. So Esthil still being able to go undead, just being, slightly delayed in it, that's perfectly fine. That's good. Is this new magic for becoming Army of the Dead? Is this specifically for your estate as well? Estate necromancers?
Yes.
Yes, it does seem like. Okay, that's awesome. And so, Esthil, do they get anything when they do manage to become Army of the Dead? Is their Army of the Dead the same as everyone else's, or are they getting extra flavor there, or what's the story on that?
You end up being, instead of, I don't want to say exactly how or why, but instead of getting a third of all casualties, you will be able to get up to 50% of all casualties.
Okay.
In battles you win.
So that infinite manpower situation is even more. Maybe even in multiplayer it will be infinite. Fair. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And
nice.
That will. I'm sure the multiplayer community thinks that this is a very balanced change.
Well, I mean, Undead Army did get some changes recently as well, so we'll see how it goes on that front.
Yes.
So, is there any other of these missions you want to highlight and bring some awareness to? Because
I
obviously we
think,
don't want to spoil. Like everyone should go and play this new mission tree because I'm not.
yeah,
It looks
I,
pretty good. But
I
what
don't
are we looking
think
at here?
I don't think I want to discuss anything else
Okay.
for now. I think everything beyond this point are things that I think people should discover for themselves. Although I will, so I think I'll discuss the first. Actually, no, the first stage of the Necronomics project. So
Yes.
there are 3 stages to this project, and each of them is a small event chain, where it's like it starts with, oh yeah, this is what we're trying to do. Here's a bit of progress, here's a bit of more progress, and now we are done. And the first level of this is some enterprising necromancer going, do we need to just raise orcs as orcs? What if we took the orc soul and moved it to like a horse or an ox, and then had that ox perform work that would be more suited for that form? So things like pulling carts or plowing fields. An ox would be better for that than an orc, right?
I like
And
that.
then trying to like figure out, oh, how does this work? And how can we make this work? And things like that.
And
So it's
all
very
of
much.
these necromancers got names as well because we need to take the name of that specific necromancer down. He needs to be on a list.
I think I don't remember if I gave. I don't think I gave that individual a name. I think it was just so. These are written sort of. Most of the events, except for the final ones in each event chain, are written as like a progress report from this place where they do these experiments.
Okay.
So I deliberately tried to give it like a sciencey feel, like, oh, something. This person can't quite claim credit for this, but at the same time, he's not like going to give more credit than he strictly needs to.
Yeah.
Because he's like the head of this place, so he wants to make himself look good.
Fair. Okay. That guy seems pretty evil, whoever he ends up being. But I mean, if it works, it works. And
Yeah,
what is the value of an orc soul really?
and I will so the third stage isn't that terrible, but the second stage is really like that "are we the baddies" moment, where you start going, oh, yeah. Um,
Clearly,
this
it shouldn't.
is
Orcs and goblins definitely worthless souls, but there are other Gribblies as well out there, and maybe they can become undead souls too.
yes,
Fair. Okay.
but
This looks
that
like an amazing mission tree. I think from
thank you.
obviously I haven't played through it yet, so I will be giving it a go and giving you my my thoughts afterwards. But I'm
Yes,
really
please.
excited now. As soon as I was told that Esthil got reworked, I was worried because I like again I've played through it before and I thought it was phenomenal, fantastic, and I super enjoyed it. And hearing that it got redone, I was a little worried.
Yes,
I'm not worried anymore.
I'm very happy to
I'm
hear
very
that.
curious. I'm very curious.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I do want to mention:
Sure.
Morgarax is still a thing. Um,
Oh, the
the flying
flying
monument.
city.
Yes. And I don't know. I'm not going to send you a run file or a save file to show that off because, again, that would spoilers lie that way. But you will now be able to move it around using uh, the UI tooltip instead
Ah,
of a decision.
up in
Um,
here.
and yeah, it will be one of those buttons. You'll be able to move it up to like 200 in-game province units. I think that's like a region or something. I'm not entirely sure
Okay.
exactly how much it translates to. And then based on the level it is, it will apply a modifier to provinces. So for level 1, it will be all adjacent provinces. For level 2, it will be all adjacent provinces or provinces adjacent to those provinces, and then level 3 up to 3 provinces away, where it would make stuff easier to core, easier to govern, and have lower unrest. Because this is like, there's a flying fortress hanging over your head.
Yeah.
Don't you think it would be a good idea to just like not rebel or something?
Do what the flying guy says. Yeah.
Yes, and do you really want to like make trouble for the government right now?
For sure. All right.
Yes.
I'm glad that stayed in. It was
Yes.
something that I enjoyed in the previous one as well. So, Esthil is a mission tree you guys should definitely try out. Is there anything else you would like to shout out? Not even just specifically for Esthil, but in the wider Anbennar world?
So, for Esthil, again, Helgi deserves so much credit for the government screen. I am thrilled to bits. I could not be more happy with that than I am, and it's so good. And there's some stuff that you haven't seen yet, and it's peak.
I will be
In addition
seeing
to
it.
that, thanks to everyone who helped with the writing or the reviewing. There were like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different people, including myself, who wrote some stuff for Esthil because there was a lot to write. So thank you to
I like
everyone.
wordy mission trees.
Yes, full list of credits in the localization file if you want to check that out at some point. But other than that, I think I'm good. Play Nansalen once the update drops. It's another mission tree I did. F80. Oh no, they're still there.
There they are.
They are new song called Harpies, and they team up with Akalsius, to basically reconquer Bulwar together. If you've played Avdal Tungra, you'll know that they get to turn Krathanor into a special kind of subject that's like extremely loyal. Nansalen gets to do the same with Akalsius, where it's like you can have them own most of Bulwar and they will still be loyal, because these are like it's basically 2 families that just so happen to be 2 races and ruling 2 different realms.
So it seems like you have 2 styles of mission trees that you make. We've got, nice happy friends, We have here, nice happy friends. We have, I am the angriest thing that has ever lived, and I turn orcs into undead servants.
Yeah, I think I have like two modes. Oh, and then there's also Salamina, which it was supposed to drop with the last update. It's the pink ones, not the pink. But the localization wasn't quite ready, so it was pushed to this update, where it's like the impetus for that mission tree was basically, I think Hawk Riders are neat, so I went and made a Wood-Elf mission tree.
Okay, so that's the second Hog Rider mission tree in Anbennar then.
Oh, I didn't realize there was a first one.
Eltican does some Hog Rider stuff as well. I think it's very heavily influenced by Clash of Clans, a game I've never played, so I don't know too much about that. But
what? Sorry.
Clash of Clans?
Oh, I've never played that either.
A mobile game, I think. But yeah, definitely go check out the rest of Magnive's mission trees as well. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me to chat with me about.
Thank you for having me,
Esthil. It's been an absolute pleasure. So yeah, everyone go and give Order of the Iron Scepter a try. You hop into Esthil and then you do things that are definitely not evil. It's just pure justification. Everything is justified.
I should mention this is not on the main Bitbucket fork yet. It is currently in it is currently being reviewed by the code reviewers.
Right.
Before it gets merged in.
Okay.
So if you want to play it, you will have to go to one of my forks. But you can also just wait until the update drops.
Yes.
and it will be part of that, or I will be dead. Only one of those two. One of those things will be true.
And the date for that release is, I think, the
20. I think it's 24th.
24th of April. So you've got about 3 weeks to wait, and then this will be live on the main Steam version of Anbennar. So favorite Anbennar, follow it, doing all that kind of stuff. And yeah, thank you all very much for watching. It's been a pleasure, and thank you again, Magnave.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Awesome. All right.